Welcome back, guys. So if you were to ask me how I feel the Southwest Florida housing market is right now, what's the vibe, right this second, I'd probably go with desperation just by the amount of open houses that I am seeing and being harassed with. And I hate to stop you guys this early in the video, but this house is cool and they're building it and I want to show you. That's pretty sweet. Sorry guys, I don't usually cut that early, but that came up quick. And I just really think that's awesome how they're building it up like that. But yeah, I mean, guys, if I get one more email about an open house or a broker's open house or a community-wide open house or a builder's open house, it's non-stop. Guys, they're throwing everything at the wall right now. Granted, it's the season to do so, but same open houses every week, week after week. We've got agents reaching out saying, hey, I've got 8 listings. I need 8 agents to sit these 8 listings. We have some communities like Lakeside Plantation in Northport is actually having a parade of townhomes this weekend. 13 townhomes they're going to have simultaneously for open houses. Like, now, I believe there's something north of 1,800 homes in that area, but still, to see 13 townhomes having a basically open house in tandem is not something I've seen down here, I've got to say, maybe 7 years. It was common when I got here in 2015, 2016 to see something like that. Market was still slow, but, when you hear that, everybody's diving in, everybody's buying, and there's 13 open houses just in one community, I think there's probably hundreds of them if you look around the county in Northport any given weekend. Kind of a, definitely a different story going on from the official narrative. And guys, even though you've probably heard this a million times, if I'm completely honest with you, open houses do not sell houses. They are for the agent to get new buyers who don't want that house usually. It is, you know what? Last time I told a seller that, I'll give you 2 examples. In April, I said that to a seller. I said, I'll do an open house, but generally, open houses don't sell houses. Sold that house at an open house to a man from California. The time before that was 2016. I had a friend of mine bring me a coffee at an open house I was sitting. A couple of months later, we were out house hunting for him. I think we had seen maybe 30 houses back when you could, like now, you could look at 30 houses in 2016. And they were just about to give it up, and they said, hey, what about that house we brought that coffee to you at? And they bought that house. So technically, between 2016 and 2024, I sold 2 houses at open houses. So I guess that's kind of contradictory, but lucky shot. And since I mentioned Californians, guys from California, I got to tell you, anybody out there, you have become mythical creatures here in the land of Florida, in a sense that all I hear from people is that you're coming here and buying everything, but I've not actually seen it. So, more of a mythological thing for me. Was there a time when we had an influx of people from out west? Absolutely. In this area, though, I did just say I sold an open house to a guy from California, which is true. Funny story. There was 5 contingent sales on that. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but it was the seller I had, whose house he was buying, she was purchasing a home, and it was contingent upon her closing on this house. The guy in California had a condo that he had to close on to buy her house, and someone had another house in Oregon that they had to close on to buy his house, and there was another I lost track, but we made it happen. But that was my California dream right there, I guess. But I just don't see it, guys. I don't see the plates. I don't see Californians coming in over ass. Just because people have a lot of money doesn't mean that they're not going to be selective with how they use it when there's this much inventory, and they're not going to overpay for things when they have the options to buy elsewhere. And while I felt that January was a pretty decent sales month around the area, some of my peers don't feel the same, though I will say for January, Charlotte County single-family homes, I want to say we pended about 440 of those bad boys, which is pretty strong, in my opinion, for January. That will, of course, be February's, hopefully February's closings. Now, as I mentioned before, will 25% of those probably fall apart? just going by statistical numbers that we're seeing, yeah, most likely. So I think February, based on January's pending, is going to fall somewhere in the 300, mid 300 range, maybe high 300 range. And then that'll give me a better indication on which way season's progressing. But yeah, slow sales for January, but it's January, guys. These were homes put under contract in December, which is usually a slower time of year, though. If you guys have seen my other stuff, you'll notice we did see a strange listing jump year over year for December, and that's typically not how it goes. With all that, I am pulling some absolutely absurd numbers for listings and months of inventory. Now, it's very early in February. Agents have a couple of days after they close a sale to get them in the MLS, so we may see sales pick up, but preliminarily, I'm seeing 10 months of inventory could potentially be coming due for when January is all said and done for areas like Charlotte County and Northport. I pulled all the listings we had and I went back 10 years. And this is the highest amount of properties in Northport or Charlotte County that we have had on the market in the last 10 years. You guys know I've mentioned that previously. We look back to pre-pandemic, but it's even further back than that. The last time I could find months of inventory to match what we have in Charlotte County now, surprisingly enough, was in 2014. For a brief period in 2014, we had 14 months of inventory. Now, I'll also preface that, guys, with seasonality. Inventory tends to rise this time of year. Last year, we had about 5 months of inventory last January in Charlotte County, but, if we go, December was 6.8, so if we go 7 or 8 or close to the 9 or 10 I'm seeing, it's just things are not getting pulled off fast enough. And I don't even think it's the problem that we're closing less homes. Are we closing less homes than we were in the mania? 100%. Again, as I've mentioned, this is kind of historically what we close here. There's just too many people listing their houses. As you guys know, that is mostly due here to the remnants of Hurricane Ian and the fact that people on a fixed income are just getting absolutely crushed. Retirees are having to really consider if they're going to be in Florida for the rest of their days because their cost of living adjustments have just not kept up with the insane inflation, insane prices, insane insurance jumps. You guys know the drill. You guys know why people are leaving, which again, just continues to add to our inventory. This year was stronger than last January. Compared to year over year, we had more closed sales than we did last January. Again, as more roll in through February, I think that's going to tick up. But pulled my 7-day trailing stats on the MLS the other day and was really shocked with the price decreases. In the last 7 days, we had 533 price decreases in my area, again, which consists of Punta Gorda up to Northport and out to Inglewood. I've never seen that many price decreases. And I think it's a lot of the holdouts that were saying, okay, January's coming. We're going to see what the season does, like we've all been watching. But the reality is setting in because not only have the homes they've listed not sold, but so many more have come on the market now. We had an absolute explosion of listings, though, again, we penned it a lot, so we may take some of those off. But it's not going to be enough at the end of the day to start cutting into this inventory for January at least. Now, if every one of those 400 and change pending sales closes in February, we might see some of the months of inventory get cut down. But again, got to see how that shakes out because so many of them tend to come back on the market right now. And another reason we might have seen that many price decreases is because the other day, Jerome Powell pretty much threw out any notion of there being a rate cut in March. Stomped that right out. Now people are moving till May. We'll see. I don't know. But that could be a factor too. It influences a lot of people, buyers, and it influences sellers just as much. So sellers pay attention to that stuff. You guys have seen before, sometimes when the rates drop rapidly, some of the prices of things go up, especially new builds. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, really interesting times down here. So I had a website lead come in the other day, guys, and it was one of you. You know who you are. And I got a lot of heat for the way I say the word Florida. Apparently I say it like a northern transplant. I don't pronounce the O properly. And guys, spoiler alert, I'd hate to tell you what you're going to think if you look at where my phone number's from, but I am a northern transplant. I'm sorry. I've been here 10 years. I know probably you guys see the gloves and how I react to the cold, and you think I might be native born, but that is not the case. Also, I don't think it's as bad as you make it out. Florida. I don't say Florida. Florida. I'll get it. For those of you guys who don't know, I am originally from the Bronx, New York. Ew, Yankee. I spent 16 years in New York City. Then I spent 15 years in rural Pennsylvania, and they beat that accent out of me, not physically, but verbally, mostly verbal abuse got me to get rid of that accent right away. I'd stand in front of the mirror every night, and I'd go, sneakers, instead of sneakers. So I've trained myself, but apparently it's still in there somewhere. So guys, today I am just outside of the historic district in Punta Gorda, right in the entrance to Punta Gorda Isles. I probably don't say that right either. Punta Gorda, Punta. I don't say Punta Gorda. Which one's right? I don't know. But I'll give you guys a shot through here. There's our beautiful Isles sign. Now they do have some really nice walking and biking paths through here that a lot of residents and myself take advantage of. So kind of cool. I haven't got to explore this one fully yet. This looks like this runs all the way through downtown, goes across to the other side. As always, guys, an absolute pleasure to be able to bring you these videos. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.